welcome to the GBHL podcast. You're here with your host GBHL Jamie, and this is my hobby vlog for what am I doing today? I'm doing some Guild Ball stuff. Ooh, shiny. So Guild Ball, if you don't know, is a game about it's soccer, it's English football, and it's sort of put into the game of it because previously the only sort of sports games are very akin to American football. So we got Blood Bowl and Dread Bowl. So Guild Ball was made by Steamforged Games, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown of their sort of synopsis of what the game is. And this should be coming up as an image on the screen, just to remind myself during editing. So, mob football was a game generally played between neighbouring towns and villages on feast days. Players on opposing teams clashed and struggled to control a leather-wrapped inflated pig's bladder and attempted to kick it into the opponent's goal. Over the years, rudimentary leagues and tournaments sprang up throughout the empire of free cities. There were even some national level games between the city-states. The powerful mercantile guilds have taken advantage of the huge popularity of the sport, investing vast sums of money in creating professional teams who compete in structured leagues. With the game elevated to new heights of spectacle, Guild Ball is wildly popular with the masses. Games are now played out in the front of vast crowds of fans, whilst behind the scenes, hidden in the corridor of power, the results can mean fortunes are won or lost on the kick of a ball. In a typical Guild Ball match, teams compete to outscore their opponents. Games may be won through scoring more goals or simply battering the other team into the ground. With no set length, Guild Ball matches accelerate towards the end of the game, with everything coming down to the last throw of the dice. So that is the sort of synopsis of the game. Just lost the game, and I kickstarted this about a year ago, and yesterday, Thursday, I went into Element Games to record Speak for Any Question with James, and saw that they had got in their shipments of Guild Ball stuff, so asked if I could be a bit cheeky and just pick it up there and then. And very kindly Element Games said yes, you can take it now, because it saves on them shipping, I guess, so it's good. And I immediately got straight home and built them up, so I'll show you off this team I've got here, this guild. It is the Fisherman's Guild. And I also kickstarted for two teams, and I also got another team here, the Brewers Guild. So, brewers, you need to get the beers in. But I'm going to send them off to Yggdrasil Painting, Mr. James Baldwin, to get them beautifully painted up. And I'm looking forward to seeing them be painted so nicely. But I am going to paint the Fisherman's Guild so I can get some games in with them, with Mr. J. Finnegan. So, I'll show you the models, show you what I need to do on them to touch them up a little bit, show you what I found tricky building them, remembering the old skills to building metal. I'll show you some of the conversions that I did just to make things a bit easier on myself. So, I'll show you the models now. And this handsome chap here is Shark. He is the leader of the Fisherman's Guild, sort of the team captain. He is an absolute beast in the game, which I will not explain to you now. I shall do it when I get onto it with Jay, and we'll give you sort of a rundown of how to play it. So I'll try and put the Guild Ball there, but you can't really see it too well. So that is Shark. He was reasonably easy to put together. The only thing I had a bit of a difficulty with is, as you can see at the end here, you should have a little hook. Have I still got it around anywhere? Or are you throwing it away in frustration? And because the metal is so thin at this end bit, I actually snapped a little bit off whilst building him, and I seem to have lost it entirely now, so oh well, that's not getting put back on. But he was reasonably easy to put together. No, I didn't need to pin him in place. He was quite easy to stand up, though I am a little bit cautious. I might need to pin him in future. Next up we have Angel. She is the sort of striker for the team. She's the one who will score most of the goals along with Shark. She was also a bit of a nightmare to get to stay on the base. You might be able to see it if I hold it right. The contact points between her and the base there are absolutely there's nothing going for it. So I had to hold her in place for quite a while. I got to stand on her own and then blob the glue on. Yeah, that's Angel. She is pretty good. She's been painted up and she's been sort of the poster girl for Guild Ball. There. Next up we have Siren. She is the sort of mysterious one of the Fisherman's Guild. She is in-game a bit of a controlling player, so she will pull players towards her, pull them out of position and let the scorers go through and do stuff. But I believe I did have to pin her in place there, because her contact point on the base was just barely existent. She's literally on her tippy toes there. nothing to go off. But she's looking pretty cool, and looking forward to getting that one done. Next up, we shall bring in the big guy. Boom. This guy's name is Kraken. Obviously the theme for these guys is they're all fishermen's guilds, so they've got things to do with the ocean. Kraken is the sort of the goalie, I guess it would be, or the main defender. He's your big guy at the back. He's going to keep things going, and he's got and again, area of effect abilities. They're called pulses, and they can actually push people away or pull them in with his harpoon. He needed to be pinned. His base, you can see maybe a little bit of the pin up below it. No, yeah, there, just about there. Pin him in place, and need to do a bit of green stuff and work on his hand here. It didn't join up perfectly, but on the whole, another great sculpt. And working with metal again, it reminded me sort of what a nightmare it used to be. Obviously you got to clean down the models first, which these guys generally didn't need too much doing. There's only a little bit of filing needed, and obviously pinning the big stuff in place and gluing metal with super glue. It feels like I've been spoiled by resin and I've forgotten all the skills. It took me a good few hours to build these guys. They weren't the easiest of builds sometimes, but yep, that is Kraken, the big man. Looking forward to getting him. He actually came with something else on his sprue, which I couldn't find a logical place for. It is what is a wrap of rope, and I thought if any of you play fantasy, it might be sort of like a an ogre's gut plate. So maybe go in there, but then you cover up all the detail on his belts and things. So it didn't go there. I checked out images online, and it looks like it's meant to go there as sort of like a shield. But again, I think it just covers up a bit of the detail. Well done, thumb. Get in the way. It's not going to stay there. But yeah, or on the back, it just looks ridiculous. And then I thought maybe I could, give him a hat. But nah. So I'm just not going to put it on the base at all and just ignore it exists. The best way to deal with any problem. Then we got the little guy. You probably can't even see him there. Is he going to focus on him? A little bit. He is an otter. He is the team mascot. He does play a part in the game. He's not fantastic, but he gives buffs to the rest of the team. And if anyone ever kills him, they all kind of go a bit mental for him. So that's an otter. He was actually a real nightmare. His tail at the back here was not a single piece, so you can see the little gap there. That would not stick for the life of me. And again, getting him to stick to the base was a bit of a pain, but got there in the end. And finally, the weirdest model and the weirdest pose of the group. I've actually posed him wrong. He is meant to. I'll put an image up whilst I'm talking here. This is Grayscales. He's sort of a bit of an all-rounder, but he's mainly attacking midfielder, I guess it would be, or defensive midfielder, depending on how the game's going. As you can see, he's in sort of a crouching position, but I couldn't find any images of him for a long time. So I just thought, I'll go with a sort of jumping pose, and this is Kraken. So he's sort of like ninja kicking through the air, about to jump and stab down on someone with his harpoon. He looks pretty cool, and as you can see here, I've had to put in a bit of brass rod, just because his harpoon snapped off, because it was really, really weak at the join here. And as I was taking him out of the bag, it snapped, and I had to replace him a little bit, so hopefully it won't be too noticeable when he's painted up. But he was a nightmare to get in place. I had to pin him into place, and generally sticking his hands on. I think if I bring him close and it focuses on him, yeah, let's try the hand trick. There we go. If you can see this little gap, I've got something more fine to point with my big chunky finger. If you can see this gap here, I need to green stuff that in, and you might be able to see it. Spin it this way. His hand here, where is it? There it is. Needs a little bit of liquid green stuff in. It was one of those pieces of hands where the two hands are connected to his harpoon, and the join wasn't fantastic. It's not terrible by any means. I probably could get away with it, but I'm going to green stuff it in just to fill it up a little bit. So that is the team. They fight in teams. They play in teams of sixes. So I've got the Guild Ball, the Fisherman's Guild. I've got the Brewers Guild all bagged up and ready to go to Mr. Baldwin. I I did also actually receive here as well, for being a Kickstarter, 2 more of the models in here. These are called union members, so they'll fight for anyone that they want to, play for anyone they want to. And I picked ones that could fight or play, sorry, for both of the teams that I own, just to make use of them. And then, because I also kickstarted it, I got these fancy resin bases, which they're all standing on, which are pretty cool, and I will need to pack them into the bags actually to send off to James. But yeah, so it's another little bonus just to say thank you for kickstarting it. And where's it gone? I had... there we go, there's one of them. Now, something that did pop up in the Kickstarter, which I was quite looking forward to getting, was the goalposts. It's just to, you know, bring the game to life a little bit when it's on the tabletop. However, I have a feeling that they overestimated how popular they might be, or how much effort that would be to make up. So their goalposts that they put in were these round discs that you could put onto there it is, that you could put onto a base. And this is the only thing from the Kickstarter that I've been a little bit disappointed at. Was, you know, I wanted like goalposts. I'll put some up that have been made on the community page. Yeah, I really wanted these ones that are on the screen now. They just look so cool by comparison, and I've got to use this one, which is just a base in all essence, really, isn't it? Well, besides that disappointment though, I am thoroughly looking to get to play this game, and hopefully it'll all take off and there'll be some tournaments that I can go to and learn the game. But I should be meeting up with Jay Finnegan next week to get some games in of this and to continue the campaign for Lord of the Rings. So just a talky one this week for me. If I get any work done... Oh, I'm dropping the camera. No! If I get any work done on these, I'll probably update it and let you know how I get on throughout the week. So as I said, I would give you an update if I've done anything on the models. Well, I have very roughly green stuffed the hand on Kraken there. I have done a little bit of gap filling. Will you focus on him for us, camera? Thanks. On grayscales here. I've done his hand at the front, as I said I would do, and a tiny little bit on the hand there. Siren, she had... Let's get these guys out of the way. He wants to focus on these guys. Do it now. Done the just on her back bit there, just where the net swings around, and I believe the top of her shoulder joint up there. On Angel, she didn't actually need to do anything. She was fine as she was. I've not done anything on the Otter yet because I completely forgot about him. I'm going to put a little smidgen on the gap in the model there. And then on Shark, I filled in the gap at his elbow there, and a tiny smidgen on the joint there. So that has been the update for them so far. I will now get them sprayed and get them painted. So I'll see you again in a couple of days probably. Welcome back. It's a few hours after the past one. I've been busy beavering away. I got the base layer of skin done on Kraken here. About to put the wash onto him. I've done the same for the rest of them, but the paint is still drying, so there's not much to show really on these guys. Just the paint there. Gonna put the wash on, then highlight, and then start picking out more detail. So things are progressing reasonably smoothly today. And I'm back at it. The guys have had their first skin highlight and another wash, and then we get another set of highlights as some of the skin needs touching up a little bit. And whilst that was drying, I started on the cloth for the big guy Kraken here. And yeah, going with the purple theme, purple and blue for the fisherman. The blue is the colour of the Fisherman's Guild. So just cracking along with them, and that should be the colour theme for this team. Yeah, come back later. And I have now finished the big guy Kraken. He's been a bit washed out by the light here, but I give him a quick spin round, and he's got all his details done, and I'm pretty happy with how he's turned out. Hopefully the rest of the team turn out this well. It was quite enjoyable painting the big skin pieces. I'm quite enjoying painting the skin, to be honest. Less so much on the fine detail stuff, especially this arm was a pain. The light's probably going to take away all the detail there. But yeah, so that is him done. That's 1 of 6 complete. Hopefully I'll get this done sometime next week. I'm not expecting to get too much painting done. It is half term, so it's going to be very busy. But that's been my hobby vlog this week. Sorry it's only a short one. I hope you've enjoyed it. As ever, be sure to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your hobby. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And goodbye from Kraken. So it's a new day, and I have been painting Siren here for this evening, and she's been a really tough painting challenge for me. Compared to the size of Kraken previously, she is teeny tiny. I measured her legs; they're 3mm each, so it's been a very detailed paint, and the light's going to really flush out the colour on this. But she's nearly done. But I'm not really happy with it. I'm just not good enough of a painter to do the detail on her properly. So quite a few areas are just painted in a block colour. So you see that on her arms there, the leather. Actually, not that one. Where is it? It's her legs mainly. But I've done bits of leather on them, but there are so many straps that the camera's not actually picking up some of them. But you can see one in between the two large, thick brown bits there, and I'm just not for it. I'm just not enjoying painting this model in any way, and I don't really want to continue painting her really. I need to do a final highlight on the hair, touch up some of the face inside because it's just a blob of mess at the moment, and yeah, just sort of finish her and hopefully get her killed straight away in the game, so I don't have to keep her on the table. On the whole, if I was a good enough painter, I think I probably would enjoy painting this model much more. Might do a second layer on the bit of cloth here, as it just looks very black at the moment. It is a very dark grey, but it's coming up as black on the camera. Yeah, so besides sort of a final few bits on her, that is the second member of the Fisherman Guild painted. So she can go over there, that's Kraken. And next up, I've got to decide between Shark, the captain, Grayscales, sort of defensive, well, the midfielder, who has unfortunately received a chip on his head already, so that'll need to be sorted out. And Angel. I've just painted a female character, so I'll probably save her for later on. Her face needs redoing. Or there is the last option, Salt. Where is it? The otter. I'm probably going to do Salt last because it shouldn't take too long, really. But that's today's update on Guild Ball.